All right, today is super exciting. We're gonna go and see Carson and Joe, the guys who sell us everything for our fish tanks, from the coral to the fish to the tanks themselves. Ha! It's like going to the candy store for a little kid. It's awesome.
Hey, Jeff.
Carson!
How are you?
I'm great, man. How are you?
Doing well.
Joe!
Good to see you.
All right, everybody. This is Carson and Joe. They own Aquatic Collections. This is my favorite place to hang out. I love coming here. Guys, relax. We're going to be on camera. We're going to have some fun. Yeah. Try to enjoy yourself a little bit.
Go easy on us.
Yeah. So, guys, really quick, how long have you owned the store?
12 years now, I think.
12 years. Yeah, I've known you since before you had kids.
Right.
Yeah.
Long time ago.
Yeah. How many kids you got now?
Three.
Right.
Right.
That's right. Carson, you know, you and I, we probably talk every other week, right?
We do.
We're always building tanks, we're always putting things in tanks, and I really rely heavily on your expertise for everything I do, which I appreciate, and we're going to get to in a little while. But tell us about the store, you guys. Like, what is this?
Yeah, so we focus on everything that has to do with fish tanks. So our main niche is saltwater aquariums, specifically reefs. We also do freshwater fish. The goal here is that we want to be able to have a fish tank for everybody. So everything from the common person who can spend $100 to someone who spends thousands and thousands of dollars. So we want to cater to all audience.
So you get little tiny tanks, you get really big tanks, you have glass tanks, you have acrylic tanks.
To massive size tanks.
And we're going to see all those today.
Exactly.
Very cool. So much fun, man. So much fun. And you know, I actually sit around the house, look at my fish tank, and think, I got to call Carson and figure out what else I can add to this thing, you know? And so that's what makes it so much fun. It's living art. You know, fish tanks are living art, and it totally relaxes me at work. I got a fish tank right next to my desk, and I'm staring at it all day long. So when I have an intense phone call, I look at it, or I go home at night and my son makes me mad because he leaves a mess all over the place. I look at my fish tank and I go, whoo, this relaxes me.
We all need that, yeah, for sure.
You got 3 kids, man. You probably need a 400-gallon fish tank at your house.
That's what work is for me. I come here and then away from the kids.
You know it. So I know we're going to do a little tour of the place, but one of the things I want everybody to know is you just can't always add any fish to any fish tank, right?
Correct.
And what I rely on is I rely on you guys letting me know what fish can go with what other fish so they don't kill each other, right? So we build a really beautiful environment where fish can thrive. So for some of my fish tanks, you guys have provided me such great expertise that I've had fish and crustaceans constantly breed. Constantly. So my coral banded shrimp has babies all the time. Super cool.
Right.
My clownfish have babies all the time. Really, really cool. And you've sold me many fish that have started out as little tiny fish that now are gigantic.
Right.
And it's, I mean, everybody at my office where these fish are really big names the fish, they talk to the fish.
They're like family, right?
They are. They're like family, you know, and so we're really careful on how we manage these fish.
Right.
So you guys, your expertise is everything. I only buy fish and coral from you guys because I don't trust anybody else. So it's really wonderful that I have you guys.
Yeah, over the years we really appreciate you supporting us.
Hey, we're a team. We're a team.
Right.
So guys, let's walk through the store just a little bit. Let's check it out. You guys can tell us what's going on. How's that sound? Sure. So this is one of my favorite tanks. I love coming in here. It's a fish-only tank, right?
This is a fish-only tank. Yeah, you put all the big angelfish here, stuff that you can't keep with reefs, because a lot of these fish will eat and get at the reefs.
Right, so that's one of the issues I always have is I have 2 reef tanks, and I'm constantly asking you what fish can I put in to the reef tank, so it won't destroy my reef tank.
Exactly.
Right?
And most people, you know, they want the big, pretty fish like these emperor angels, but it ultimately will eat soft corals and other corals in the tank. So we recommend having 2 separate tanks, one specifically for fish only and one for reefs, assuming that you have the space to do it.
Everybody needs 2 tanks, let's be honest. Everybody needs 2 tanks, right? All right, so this tank I love because I come in here and I see what a full-grown angel might look like. For the emperor angel, he doesn't look like this when he's a baby.
No.
You know, so we'll definitely get a picture of one of your baby emperor angels. And that's one of the fun part about having a tank is watching the fish develop and actually change. So we have angels that go through a metamorphosis And sometimes we also have wrasses that go through metamorphosis.
Right.
Like a dragon wrasse goes through a really cool metamorphosis. So really fun stuff. That's what makes it so much fun. All right, let's take a look around. So I see we have both coral over here and we have fish, we have crustaceans.
Right, yeah, so everything left in the store is reefs. So on the bottom tanks, these are all the coral reefs.
Awesome.
And then up top, on the top we keep all the crustaceans. So we have all the cleaner shrimps, anemones.
Now this is cool. I've never seen this. What's that?
It's a Medusa worm.
Woo, that's cool. Now can that go in a reef?
You probably don't want to. That's a species-specific animal.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Definitely interesting.
So when I'm looking at coral with you, we're always talking about where coral goes in the tank. Does it go high near the light? Does it go lower? Does it need more of a kind of like a darker area? And the other things you talk to me about are flow. So why is that? What's important with all that?
Nope.
Certain corals, they just require, some corals want high flow and some want, they want low flow. They can't handle it too much. So that's something that we can show you. That's something we can show you in the store because every coral is a little bit different on the requirements on flow and light.
So my tanks, my coral are growing like crazy right now because you've helped me understand where to put them in the environment where they'll be most successful.
Right.
Sometimes we have to spot feed coral, and you guys often tell me what coral has to be spot fed. And when we do that, it takes a little more work, but the results are amazing because the growth within the tank really amplifies.
Right.
Really cool, really cool. So I see you have one of my favorite red-legged hermit crabs, which are one of the most animated, cool creatures that we could possibly put in a tank. But that's why we need you guys, because if I threw this in my tank, I probably wouldn't have any little fish left, would I?
Right. Or corals.
Yep. So that cool guy has to go into a special tank.
Right. You want to keep it with fish.
Yeah. But man, he's
Definitely not with corals, yeah.
Right. He's got personality though.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. That's one of the
People love
fun
those.
things. Yeah. People love them because they got personality. Right?
Right.
All right.
Right.
Let's take another look and see what else we got here.
What else we got?
Now I see you got clams.
Right.
These are one of your favorites, Jeff.
I love clams.
Every time.
I just love them. They really add a lot of, I would say, color and just uniqueness to a tank. And they're very easy to take care of.
Right. Yeah.
You just got to get them in the right spot. And one of the things that I've learned over the years is you don't stick a clam in the sand. It just doesn't work as well. And so when I go scuba diving, you never see clams. Well, sometimes you do. You see them in the sand. But mostly they like to find rocks and create a crevice and live in the rock.
Right. They burrow down onto the rocks.
Yeah. And so I have much more success when I put my clams somewhere in the tank other than the ground.
Right. You just have to make sure it's exactly where you want it, right? Because once you get it there, it's really difficult to move.
Totally.
Be careful. If you want to move it, you have to make sure you don't tear it off, or else you could definitely kill the clam that way. So yeah, just make sure it's the perfect spot, and should be happy.
And I think people love to do when we sell clams, just check the health. When there's sensitive light, so you see how they retract.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Yeah, so that's usually an easy way to tell if they're healthy or not when they retract the lighting.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, I might have to get one of those today. I love my clam. My clam has been in my fish tank at work for about 8 years.
Wow.
That's how long I've had it.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and I bought it here, and they don't grow a lot. Physically, the size doesn't change too much. Now, I've seen some growth.
Right.
But my clam opens up and it's fully exposed all day long. And
happy
then I'll
clam.
Yeah, happy clams,
Yeah.
right? We want happy clams, right? Happy
Right.
clams. And then at night I'll come to work sometimes and I'll get my flashlight out and it'll be closed up. It's definitely closed up. It's going to sleep. It's protecting itself.
Right.
Really cool. And then my shrimp will be climbing on it, cleaning it, doing different things to it. But I never see my shrimp on it during the day. Even though the shrimp's a tiny little crustacean, I think they're smart enough to know they're dead meat and food if they climb on top of the clam.
Right.
Could be.
It's a crack up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a crack up. My fish also know what time feeding time is. So when I'm coming into my office and it's 10 o'clock, which is normal feeding time, they're all at the glass staring at me going, feed me, feed me, feed me.
Yeah.
Total personalities. Total personalities.
That's one of the reasons why people love their fish so much. They're like little puppy dogs. You know, they definitely learn how to beg for food.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like a, you know, they're communicating with you through the glass. So it's, yeah, you fall in love with the fish.
Yeah, they all have their own personalities.
So much fun.
Yeah.
So why I like coming here, other than the fact that you always have really cool stuff to look at and to bring home, is you guys just know everything. You know, I don't ever feel like I'm going home and not know where to put a coral, or I've never put a fish in a tank that you've suggested that's been a problem. Now, the problem that we always have is you guys can't control me. and you know, that's a problem everybody has, but you know, sometimes I bring fish home and all of a sudden they're, you know, a little combative, and in my mind I hear Carson saying to me, now don't put that in your reef tank, it's not going to get along with these fish, but I do it anyways, right? So that's my problem. That's my problem, right? Yeah, so you guys got to bring the hammer down on me a little bit harder.
We try to teach fundamentals in like what the book says, you know, like how to mix fish and what works and what doesn't work, but there's always exceptions to the rule.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things we try and teach our employees to make sure we're teaching the correct way to do things. And I wouldn't say that we know everything. First off,
we're constantly learning.
We're learning too all the time.
From our employees, from our customers like you know?
Yeah. So I think that we try and teach the basics and stress that to the customers, and we try to say, hey, you shouldn't do that, your tank's too small. We don't let them, try not to let people make mistakes, but sometimes people, they want to do it, they got to do it, but
we pay the price when we have to do it, and we should do it. Definitely, absolutely, definitely. All right, well, let's just take a quick look on the other side, and we're going to head over to the freshwater fish and the saltwater fish side.
Sure. Yeah, there's a lot of saltwater fish on this side, but also this is the freshwater side.
Yeah, so there's our freshwater shrimp cubicles. I'm gonna take a look. These are all the small little freshwater shrimps.
Really popular lately.
Yeah, the great thing about these is you just have a really small tank and they're pretty low maintenance.
Right.
So it's a good desktop aquarium.
And then I see over here, man, I love this. You've got the coolest tank right here. This is a tank I would love. You got a lot of really beautiful fish, and you got your crustaceans lined up in the tank. We got to get a picture of those crustaceans. You got to check those crustaceans out. I don't have a pond, no.
We want to talk about that.
Yeah.
We do have to talk about it.
Yeah, we will. We will. I'd probably like a crocodile or an alligator in my pond, though. Snapping turtles. All right.
So yeah, more freshwater stuff. We have a mix of community fish, there's goldfish that you saw. There's guppies, you know, gouramis, angels, different stuff. Mainly community stuff. We don't have too much in the way of aggressive freshwater, but you know, we make more space for that in the future.
Very cool.
Yeah,
I love it.
It's definitely something that we want to grow on. Freshwater is a larger market. There's more people in freshwater.
Sure.
You know, but our passion is the saltwater side, you know.
But we all started freshwater.
We all start
I started in freshwater too, and Johnny's my son's got a beautiful freshwater tank in his room, and really healthy, beautiful angelfish that just have these gorgeous long tails. Fantastic, really cool stuff. All right, well, let's take a look over at your reef tank, which is one of my favorite things to see. And of course, they never sell me anything out of that reef tank, which drives me crazy.
That's one of our secrets. Gotta make you want
Keep
stuff
you come back.
So we have two reef tanks. We have the little reef tank, which just goes to show you don't have to have a giant tank to have an amazing tank. You know, you've got fish in here, you've got your corals. Beautiful tank, absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
And one of my favorite corals you have hidden in the back, which I don't really know if you should be keeping this or if I should get it myself, but John, you're gonna have to take a quick picture of that coral. And Carson, tell everybody what that is.
That's a Symphilia wilsoni. It's from Australia. Yeah, like super low light.
It's just such a beautiful coral.
Yes,
it's amazing.
Very nice.
And then we've got the bigger tank over here. Now, how big is this tank here?
I believe that was
it's like 170. It's a reefer S650, so I believe it's 170 gallons.
I love this tank. This tank you have some Recordia in this tank, which you don't see very often anymore, and I love Recordia, you know, and so we'll have to get a picture of, we have some Recordia here, and we have some Recordia over there, and the orange Recordia it's just so nice.
Yeah, they're really easy to keep, offer a lot of color, and they're super affordable. They're not going to break the bank like the more expensive orange corals.
Well, one of the things that I have a hard time with, I don't really get those Recordias to grow very well. I'm just not good at it. I probably don't have the patience to feed it right. But it seems to me that in this tank, your Recordia just is growing. It looks great. And I love it. I love this tank right here.
Yeah, actually, Joe and I, we don't touch this tank. It's our staff, and they do an amazing job at keeping this tank clean and healthy and growing everything.
I love it.
Yeah,
it looks great.
though.
It looks great. Yeah. And here's some choices for tanks, right? Some bigger tanks.
Yeah, some of the small, the example of tanks that we carry, these are all larger ones that we have in stock.
And you sell the bases for them?
Yeah, so these come in a set. It's the tank stand and then the filtration on the bottom.
Right.
So it takes out all the thinking.
So basically, you buy a complete set. It includes the pumps. It includes, now what do we call this? The sump?
The sump.
The
Yep,
sump?
the sump.
We got the
plumbing.
Yep.
Yeah, we got the stand, and then we have the tank. So
nice. And then you buy the lights separately.
correct. Yeah. A lot of times people get intimidated by doing all the plumbing work and knowing how to pair the correct equipment together. But this company made it easy for everybody, where you just take it home and fill it with water.
And I love the rock. You know, we recently bought some of this rock here for the new tank, and it really looks fantastic. It's got a real clean look, but it's also interesting. So you're looking at it, and you're going, wow, that looks kind of cool. And so it makes it just that much more beautiful to look in the tank. Let's take a peek really quick up front. Now, as people come in the store, I'm assuming that they're asking a ton of questions.
Always, always.
Yeah. And I'm one of them. How often do I say, Carson, come here, Carson, come here? Right?
Yeah.
Yep, totally.
That's what we're here for. You know, that's what separates us from like the big box stores that, you know, we like to give advice. We like to help each customer out individually. You know, everybody has their own individual needs.
Yep.
And we try our best to accommodate for each and every single one of you guys.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And you sell everything from the salt to the calcium, the magnesium. You sell the lights, and I know we'll go take a quick peek at the lights. And you sell the food, so we don't need to go anywhere else.
Right.
Everything we need. You even do water. Explain that, because I change my own water, but I know you guys have a water filtration system.
Right, so we have a really good RDI system that just purifies water, and we collect it in that larger tower there, and then so people come here to sometimes buy RDI water, and then we will mix synthetic salts that they can also buy salt water. Yeah, and so we're really on top of the RDI system, making sure the filters are changed regularly, so it's really good quality water, and then we mix the salt, and so people come and buy salt water and RDI water.
Yeah, especially helpful if you with small tanks. You don't have to buy a huge bucket, take it home, mix it. You can just buy just a small portion at a time.
Right.
Yes.
I think that's awesome. It's a great service, and it makes things. It gives another reason to come in here.
Right.
You know,
Right.
like I said, this is my candy store. I love coming in here because you basically get fresh products, fish-wise, coral-wise, every week, right?
Yep.
And so we can come
Multiple
in and see
shipments a
new
week, yeah.
things. You have a website, you have an email, newsletter. Every Friday I get your email newsletter and I scan through it to see what I want.
And I get a text right away.
You do. And I even look at the background to see if anything's hidden in the background that might be really cool, which I got something really cool hidden in the background a couple months ago, which I really thought was cool.
Yeah.
So I mean, that newsletter is really informative. And do you guys give advice in that newsletter at all? What do you guys do
Not
with that
so much.
newsletter?
I mean, the newsletter is just to show people we're getting stuff almost every day. We're getting a new shipment of coral, saltwater fish, freshwater fish almost every day. And so the newsletter is just to like let people know like kind of what we got that week. So we usually send it at the end of the week so that people can see like, oh, they got the fish I was looking for. And we include some photos to hopefully get them excited to come in. It's like, oh, I haven't seen that before, or like, man, they check these, and then they come in. And we want people to come in. Yeah.
Oh yeah, so much fun. I mean, I've been in here where the enthusiasm level with the clients are just amazing. People are just so excited.
Yeah, we have great customers.
I think that's one of our secrets. Yeah, we try to you know just be excited with people, and people want to hang out and just talk fish, talk corals, and we try and have every single thing you would need to set up a tank from sand and to pumps to lights to tanks, everything.
That's great. It's great. Well, I like it because as we're talking about fish and coral, we can talk about the Niners, we can talk about the Warriors.
Everything.
You know it. So we can
Right,
keep
you
all the things that are important in our world.
Right.
All right, guys.
Right.